Hey guys, what's going on? This is Cheney 180, and
The Fallen Fed. Hey guys, what's up?
you're listening to another episode of They're Not Dolls
Episode 176.
176.
Yes, sir.
So, we've got a very awesome show for y'all tonight. We have a very special guest, all the way from Long Beach, right?
Long Beach, California.
Yes, sir. We have the one and only David Vonner himself. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
No problem.
How's everybody doing?
Good, good, good.
Doing great, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Amazing's in here.
Yes, he is. What's up?
The Amazing?
There he is. Happy belated birthday to D Amazing.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, brother.
And also, it's our buddy Rich's birthday today as well. So happy birthday,
Happy
El
birthday.
Sinestro.
El Sinestro.
Yes. So we got Adam in there.
Adam Van is in the house.
He said, "Uh-oh." Look at, did you see that? He said,
Uh-oh.
"Oh, what's up, D Amazing?" And then he said, "Uh-oh, Adam's here."
Trouble's here. So we've got a pretty awesome show here. What we usually like to do in the beginning is we talk about our pickups. I don't think I got anything actually. I know pickups are kind of scarce right now, but we'll start with you, Dave. Did you get anything in this week, figure wise?
I had got I found a Red Hulk, the new Red Hulk, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So like now my selections are a little bit more limited, because I'm more picky and selective about what I collect now instead of like just getting everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a little bit more selective.
And what did you think of it?
I think it was pretty dope. I think it was super dope. I mean, definitely an improvement from the previous one. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I love the evolution of seeing. One of the cool things about having the character that's done multiple times is seeing the evolution of that character, the style, the sculpt, the process, and everything. So, and plus, like Marvel Legends is kind of firing all cylinders right now. So it's cool to see this iteration of that character. So it's pretty dope.
Heck yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it myself. Ernie loves it too, right, Ernie?
Yeah, it's got to be one of my favorites, along with the gray, and I think red is right up there with it. So that's a good pickup, man, and very nice too, because they still seem to be scarce out there.
Yeah, they're still scarce, but it's funny. I'm seeing some people pick them up, find them in some weird places. But mentioning that Gray Hawk is dope too. Like I
Mm-hmm.
love that one too, man.
Hmm. I love it. I
I,
love
I,
the
I
face
love I
sculpt.
love I love Hulk figures in general. He just breaks the frame. He's nice and big and thick and everything. And for me, I know sometimes some guys don't like certain versions of the Hulk or how it's done, but to me, it's kind of like it makes me think of that artist, like different artists' interpretations of that character.
Mm-hmm.
So I can appreciate the many differences that are done, but yeah, the spread off is pretty dope.
Yeah, I really got like the vibe of like the Ed McGuinness artwork from the old one, the old Build-A-Figure
Hmm.
Red Hulk.
Yeah,
I really got that vibe off of that one, and this one
yeah,
still kind of got that Ed McGuinness kind of like vibe to it, but it's like a little bit more modernized, I guess, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Like being at Hasbro during the time of that first one, like it was definitely inspired by beginners.
Mm-hmm.
So and also that one's a little bit more graphic in a sense. Like there's a little more graphic shapes with it, whereas this new one is a little bit more organic
Yes,
looking. If that makes
exactly.
any sense, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean by that. Yeah. This one definitely does feel more organic. The other one had like, kind of like those sharp edges.
yeah, like blocky, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, which was still dope. So
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate it. I can appreciate the original one for that look, and also definitely know I can appreciate the 3 3/4 inch one. For that for that one, I gotta throw that one in there, the Marvel Universe one,
Oh
but
yes.
also this new one too. It's pretty slick too. I like the face on it too. Got a nice expression on
Heck yeah.
it, and Adam, yes, you did do that. When you did a great job, you do a good job on all your stuff.
uh, and was that the only pickup, or were you lucky on anything else?
Well, actually, that was the only one. And to be honest, it's funny because that one, even though is a little bit more scarce, was a little bit more easier to find, but everything else is like kind of tough. It's a lot of repetitive, repeat stuff on the pegs right now.
Mm-hmm.
So and then like also too, like I love NECA stuff too. So just about anything NECA I can get, I'll try to grab, and also Mez's stuff too, man.
Yeah.
Mezco stuff is just dope.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Ernie, did you get anything this week, sir?
Yes, literally, I was just talking about it.
I just read Adam's last little. So I think Adam is. I see tonight Adam is gonna be trolling this whole thing. Adam Troll Wickler, that's his new name. It's funny, man, because Adam is like the connective tissue of all this stuff. He's an interesting dude. You know what I mean? Like he's connected to everybody. He's worked on a lot of stuff. Clearly, like being with Giant, he's kind of connected in a little bit of everything. But he's like the connective tissue of all this. He's an interesting dude, man. So I would love to hear him be inundated with a bunch of questions because I'm sure he has a lot, a lot of good stories to tell.
Oh yeah, he was on last week. I'm gonna actually post the episode tomorrow, so I wasn't able
Nice.
to get. I'm usually able to post on Thursdays, but my schedule is so messed up right now. It's rough. I'm not in my normal deal here. So yeah, when I post
I
it
know.
tomorrow, I'll send you a link if you want to check it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This whole thing is a big shift, man. I mean, we're all adjusting to this whole new world. Like we've been thrust into this new future now, this
Mm-hmm.
new reality. So going from shopping, collecting, you know, even and for me, I think the distribution is going to change. Like a lot of things going to change out of this.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I definitely agree.
yeah, and also like how you tap into the consumer. How you reach the consumer. Like especially like with entertainment. Like if you notice, like with Instagram has become like this hub of entertainment right now with all this stuff that's going on, since no one can really leave,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of traffic has been floating to different directions, through that, and it's proven to be a serious vehicle in where we're going for the next chapter in entertainment and content.
While we're on this, so what do you think? Since everything that's happened with the comic books lately, what do you think's going to happen to comic books? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't, it's crazy, man, because I actually think that this might, hopefully, it's a little bit of a resurgence with comics, as far as getting back to like that tactile, having it in your hand as opposed to digital comics and everything. But especially like with the schools and everything, and young students, now needing to read a little bit more, like physical books and everything.
Hmm.
So I mean, with that, that's always my hope with the comic industry, that it doesn't implode too much. That we still have comic books, man.
Yeah.
But but I don't know. I mean, I definitely can see how digital comics can flourish a little bit more, but also too how traditional books can be appreciated a little bit more throughout, after all of this too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's really crazy because it's like we've, I'm younger than you and Ernie are. So, but even in my, in my lifetime, I've watched the transition from, you get a book at the store, like that's how you stay with, your story. To
Mm-hmm.
now, there's three or four different ways you could read the story if you want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can do it digitally. You can do it. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So it's it's really interesting to see where all this is going to go.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be, and I think maybe too, maybe this will give creators the opportunity to create their own stuff as opposed to everything is being, Marvel and DC, and then that's it. Like, hopefully now this will we can usher in a new age where more creator owned IPs and brands can kind of get out there and flourish more too.
hmm I actually heard someone say that. They were saying that the where we're at right now, like right now with Diamond not pushing anything out, it's like basically they've opened the gates for like creator owned stuff. Like if you want, like if you want to get your stuff out right now's the time. Like there's gonna be a little lull, so the
Hmm.
window is open, and if you think you got something out there that people are gonna like, now's the time to push it.
Right, right.
So
And also too, man, it may be a whole new way of just the collector business in general, like, as far as creating your own IP, where, now some of these resources are a little bit more available with like 3D printing, and you can kind of put your own models and everything. So that's the thing that I kind of wish would happen, that I hope would happen, that we would get to see a little bit more creator owned stuff, kind of,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
get the move on. Especially, if you ever go to Designer Con, or even toy, like mainly Toy Fair, you try to, push your own IP, man. It's so difficult to do when you don't have any content or the traditional needs behind it.
hmm
Whereas now we can really break frame, and we won't have to rely on, traditional cartoons or traditional movies and things like that. Now we're starting to see how, you know, different forms of media content with this whole epidemic that's going on is really starting to flourish.
hmm
So I'm hoping like that's where we begin to go.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, let's jump back here to Ernie. What did you get, sir?
Yeah, that I totally agree with
Yes.
what he's
Right.
saying. That's a great look on it. But my pickup for today was right after we just finished the mini quickie episode. I ran downstairs to the door to the downstairs to the doorbell, and I finally got my snake eyes in.
Oh, you got your snake eyes?
Yes.
How do you
Oh
like that,
man,
man?
it's so beautiful. I want to frame that artwork. That's number one. I already said
Hmm.
I'm going to get a frame for that. The box is beautiful. I might have to tattoo that on my belly. And the snake eyes itself is just, oh man, he
Yeah, it's dope, man.
is
My
great.
boy, Lenny Panzica over at Hasbro worked on that, man. We used to work together on Marvel back in the day, and it's so cool to see, Lenny really just take the reins and kill that, man. That Snake Eyes is dope. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see G.I. Joe just in general move to 6 inch. Me personally, like that's something that I wanted to see back in the day, but now, it's like with everything being 6 inch, moving to that scale, it kind of, I would love to see it remain 3 and 3/4 inch, just add, like serious levels of detail and sculpt and articulation into that. But it'd be cool to to see these characters in Six Sense form for the first time, you know, and that Snake Eyes is super dope. It does seem like a little bit of an outlier to me, like it's a little bit different than the other ones, but it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the direction, like you said, to see the other ones, how it's gonna go. I know we only have a reveal of these few, so I can't wait like to see Cobra Commander, Baroness, and
Right,
how their look is
Destro,
on it.
Destro.
Yes, right, and I accepted what we got shown first. I'm cool with it. I get it. It's just a different rendition, but that's what I like about it. And so I can't wait. And I was just so excited to get this Snake Eyes. I did get
Hmm.
scared though. I mean, hearing the stories of people's got taken off their porch and other people not receiving it yet. I ran to the door. I opened it and I had a smashed up box that was already open.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
I freaked out, Cheney.
I
I
bet.
really did.
I bet. You
So
you
did the
And I
packaging get messed up at all, or what?
the outside cover is messed up, but thankfully that's just a slip cover. And Corinne had to keep calming me down,
I bet.
saying
Mhm.
that's just a
Yeah,
slip cover. That's just a slip
no,
cover.
yeah, I understand. I'm a mint on card guy. I
So
like
am
my stuff
I.
looking. I love my stuff looking pristine. So it's like that little crease or little nick in there. I will see that forever.
I am. I swear it looks like somebody wrote on it with pen. Like I kept telling Corinne that I'm like, did somebody write on this?
Right.
So look at Adam
What?
says grown, and that's why he said I opened mine. I know Adam, but
Well,
this packaging is beautiful.
you know I'm not going to be using the packaging on mine at all. So if it's crisp, you can have my sleeve.
All right, that's cool because yeah, I freaked out. It was Cheney, you got to see the video. It was literally open, the whole box.
Oh my gosh! I bet
I
Oh
I,
man.
you
I
almost had a
freaked.
heart attack. Yeah.
I did because I said I was like, this figure better be in here, and because I could see that like if I opened it all up and took it all and then it wasn't there, but thankfully it was. But man, it's just I love just like you were saying it. The box to me is just this artwork on it, the embossed impression of it. Oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
can't wait to look at it more and then actually handle that Snake Eyes
yeah.
because
The
I'm in.
presentation of that is dope, and I think that's, to me, that's what makes the Six Sense Joy line so unique, because before in the 3 3/4 one, it was more about the storytelling, the file cards and all that stuff, and then the
Yeah,
vehicles, building up that world. Whereas
right.
this is going to be more collector heavy, with the dope packaging and paint, sculpt, and all that stuff. If they do a few vehicles or two, I think that'll be pretty cool. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
It would be expensive. It would be pretty expensive, but
Hmm.
I would love to see them do. I mean, it's GI Joe. How can
Yeah.
you not?
Right.
You have to
That's
have
what we
it.
talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see at least I want to see a his tank.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, some Cobra stuff, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But that was all my pickups, Cheney. That was it.
Darius says he'll buy all the vehicles.
Yeah. I agree with him. I think that's something I'd go in on too. Cause like we talked about before, if you remember our 3 3/4, it was so simplistic. Sometimes you just snap two pieces together, threw on your stickers. And,
Yeah,
and even at
and
that time
you were good to go. You were good
yeah,
to go. You ready to play?
even
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
time though, as a child, I still had to make sure my stickers were right and straight.
Hmm.
Like it always
Hmm.
bugged me going to go play with your friends and their stickers were everywhere. I'm like,
Yeah,
what is that?
yeah. My best friend's brother was like that. My best friend's older brother, Rich, was like that. Man, it's like everything had to be pristine. It had to look like the ad in the catalog.
Yeah.
Like that was his thing.
Yep.
And then he would make little like accessories, like trees, like dioramas, and all little things that would kind of go along with the figures and everything. His thing had to look exact. My figures look ghetto as hell. You know, I put the stickers on my head, on my hands, on my jacket.
Nah, I'm even as so bad, Dave, is that I even have a headlamp that I wear to put them on.
Oh,
For real.
he's got like even like the the microscope kind of like or
Yeah.
the what is it, the magnifying glass with the light built
Yeah,
into it.
it's like
Yeah.
you making counterfeit money. You going
Yeah,
all
For
in.
yeah,
reals.
yeah.
And
And
my
he's
tweezers
yeah, he's
and
got the
everything.
tweezers and
Mhm.
everything to like get it all
Uh-huh.
pristine and lined up.
Yup. Yup.
Okay,
It's
so
fun.
yeah,
It's so funny, man. How we all do the same thing, but we never knew that we were doing the same thing.
yes,
And I
yes,
think that's one of the I think that's one of the things that make collecting so cool because you find out you have these discoveries that we're not too different, from what we collect or how we display it or the little nuances that we do to enhance our figures and all that. Like we all got a touch of madness in us, and it really comes out in our displays and our collecting.
heck yeah.
Mervin, I put gloves on to slide the slip cover off. Yeah.
You know what? I probably would have too, but I was too freaked out to make sure that it was there because I couldn't believe it.
He was hyperventilating already. No, no, it better be. Uh.
And Mervine also said that they threw his on the stairs and drove off. Bro, I heard
Mm.
the doorbell and I ran down and I didn't even see the truck. So that's
Oh
how bad.
wow.
I think like they knew.
Wow.
I think they did the old he jumped in, already started running down the street
Hmm.
for reals.
Well, see, man, there's a lot of people now who collect,
Yeah. Oh
action
yeah.
figures and everything, and it's more. It's not just your normal comic book guy or tour guy. Like there's, UPS drivers, there's doctors, there's lawyers. So sometimes, man, some of those drivers, I think some of them have a little inside job going on as well. Like
I
they'll
would
let
agree with
someone
that.
they'll let someone know what's coming and have one of their friends pick it up or whatever. Like there's a dark side to this collecting stuff,
Oh yeah.
and people
No,
will
we
people will really go through some elaborate lengths to get what they want.
yeah, no, we deal with that so, quite a bit up here in the high desert with some of the stores and stuff. You go in and you're like, "Hey, I noticed it shows that you have this." No, we don't have that. Well, it says that you have it. We can't find it. You're like, "Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well then. All right, I guess I'm just going to leave." And then you'll leave and you're all, "Oh, it's showing that it's not in stock anymore. How convenient."
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So what else? What are you guys collecting? What else are you guys collecting?
Oh man. I'll let Ernie go first.
I do. I'm in the box. Basically the house is a Toys R Us museum. I put up all my stuff on the wall. I do Star Wars, mainly Black Series now. I have a Spider-Man wall of Marvel Legends and some Toy Biz stuff. I
Oh,
have
cool.
an X-Men wall with all Marvel Legends. I have a DC wall just featuring Harley Quinn and Joker and some Batman stuff. I got to make sure that Christopher Reeve Superman is up there, of course. And then
Uh,
I have a whole movie MCU wall of all the Marvel Legends figures from the movies.
oh yeah,
And
I'm going back towards like all the way back, like X-Men one and all that stuff, or the recent
no,
movies.
basically
Just MCU.
just
Yeah.
MCU Marvel Legend ones.
Okay.
So maybe what could we say? The start was Guardians, and then they went into some of the Captain America stuff. Probably Captain
Right, right,
America
right.
first with that line, and then just trickle down to everything. And then I have a whole Transformers wall of the Generation series and
Hmm.
alternators. Alternators were my favorite.
Oh yeah.
And then I have my NECA Predators, 3 3/4 GI Joes, some Diamond Ghostbusters up there, and more and more. And then out of the box, though, I do have a bunch of masterpiece Transformers that I do, mainly
Mm,
Decepticons.
yeah. Nice. You got the whole shebang up in there.
I try.
Yeah, I do. I think the question is, what don't I collect?
Yeah, that'd be easier for Cheney.
Yeah, I do Legends, especially X-Men. Like I buy multiples of the X-Men just because I love X-Men. I grew up in I was a kid in like the '90s, so it was just like the Toy Biz figures, the cartoon, all that just hit real strong with me. So I love the X-Men, but I buy pretty much a majority of the Marvel Legends stuff, if not
Right.
like probably like 90% of it. There's very few that I don't pick up. I do a bunch of different SH figure art stuff. So I do Dragon Ball, Naruto, the MCU stuff, Star Wars stuff. I do some Star Wars Black Series, the Mezco stuff. I love that. What is it? SH figure art Street Fighter, Storm Collectibles Street Fighter. Like my two main things that I really love. If I had to give up everything and only have two, would be just to stick with X-Men and Street Fighter. I think I could survive
Hmm.
like that. I
Hmm.
think I'd be
Hmm.
okay. But yeah, man, I think I got, I collect all kinds of import stuff. I collect Figma figures. I collect, figure arts, Mayfex, you name it, man. I'm a junkie.
Yeah. See
I think
now,
that I
I
think this is a
kind of get.
perfect time, Cheney.
What's that?
We didn't formally introduce Mr. Vonner here to our listeners and to everybody of his
Yes.
background and
Yes.
where he comes from.
I was
You know,
just gonna say we were gonna move to that. Why don't you explain or tell everybody who you are and what you do, if you don't mind,
Well,
sir?
I currently I am I work for Mattel on WWE, where I'm a staff designer, and and it's super fun. Prior to that, well, going all the way back, I first started off at Spencer Gifts as a product designer there, and then went to Toy Biz, and then Hasbro. Toy Biz working on Marvel, then Hasbro working on Marvel. And started the 3 3/4 inch Marvel Universe line, worked on Marvel Legends at Toy Biz, and worked on a lot of Marvel movie stuff, from the first Blade and Iron Man, X Men, to all the way up to Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and all that stuff. And Yeah, and so now I'm here at Mattel working on WWE. Super fun, always changing, and in a nutshell, that's my history in a
Nice.
very short nutshell.
Yeah. So there's obviously a lot of stuff that I own that you've worked on.
It was fun. It was fun making all that stuff too, man. It was fun.
Heck yeah. And then
Do you have the old the first X-Men movie line with the Charles Xavier with the loose legs?
uh, I had a bunch of that stuff. I think I
Like
ended up.
he doesn't stand up. His
Yeah.
legs are really loose and all that stuff.
I
I
th-
don't know. I always loved that figure. Always loved the fact that
you couldn't
it
stand them up.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because when somebody says I can't get Xavier to stand, it's like, did you hear what you just said?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
D's got to Darius has got to check out for the night. Thanks for joining us.
Oh no.
That's what he said.
Well, it's like, what is it going on one over there now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I kind of forget about that. See,
Yeah.
on the West Coast, I kind of think everyone is on our time.
Mhm. Yeah, I made sure to let him know that you were going to be here, so he wanted to hop on and say what's up and whatnot. So
So,
definitely.
Who did you work with on WWE? Well, Adam Van Wickler. Besides yourself, the other person is Bill McKenna, who works on elites and everything. And we got a really tight crew. Bill McKenna and there's another guy, Scott Cody, super talented artist, and John Lee. He's really cool, really dope artist. He works on the basic line, and we also have Bill Beneke. He used to work on the DC Universe line.
Oh
So
wow,
he's over there now. Yeah, so we kind of have a little all star team over there working on WWE. It's really fun.
nice. Yeah, what was it?
Oh,
So
who did you work with on Marvel Universe? Adam Van Wickler. Well, hey, I think Adam, you would think that he's the only child. 'Cause you really would think that he's the only child.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely.
You know that I think Adam likes hearing his name mentioned over the airwaves all the time.
Oh yeah,
That's what it is. That's
yeah.
what it is.
You can tell, Ernie. You can tell he's in that status, isn't he?
Yeah, I love when Adam's on.
Now that dude, he, he collects everything. His fingers in the pulse. He knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Super talented. You know, he come up with some wild ideas, but he's super tapped in. You know what I mean? And that's the cool part about
Um,
working with him.
I totally agree. I thought my office was cool, and then we had the greatest opportunity to go spend an afternoon down there with them and tour Gentle Giant and everything. And that was one of the coolest offices I've ever seen. Like
Mhm.
Adam had everything on his desk, and I mean everything. I was so jealous. Like you could name it, it was there. It was really cool.
I know it's like obscene. It's obscene the way he has stuff just
Piled up.
matter of factly just laying there and shit. Oh, I'm sorry, but you just have stuff just kind of laying there, and it's like, wow, it's just laying there.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
he definitely.
We were there and we were looking at everybody's work areas and whatnot, and you get to May to his cubicle and it's just pristine, man. Like everything's in its spot. His desk doesn't have a speck of like dust on it. Like all the surfaces are spotless and clean. Like, and he's just like, "Hey guys," and
You know that's the cool part about that I wish more people could actually see, like in the toy industry, how everyone collects something, everyone's into something, but the way that we all display our stuff is kind of like it's like walking to the offices of Google or something where you see everyone has their cubes all like decked out
Mm-hmm.
independently and uniquely. It's kind of like the same thing in the toy industry, how everyone has not only just stuff that they work on, coming in, but also just the wild things that they love to collect and display.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. It's cool. I wish the nature of the toy industry wasn't as secretive as it is, so people on the outside can really see the type of displays and the type of fun and camaraderie that we have on the inside.
Yeah, there's recently we've been able to kind of get a glimpse of that, Ernie and myself, and it's a really neat thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
There's what's really interesting too is how connected everything is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how it's like everybody is working in different spots, but at other times they work together, and like everyone's still kind of like is connected, and for the most part they all get along, and like when everyone meets up at Toy Fair or SDCC, it's like a big gathering. Like, hey man, what's going on? Blah blah. Were you able to get that? Oh, I got that, and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah. And
It.
it's also a friendly competition too, because you're collecting, your peers stuff, and of
Right.
course you want your own personal stuff, and you want your team to win too. So
Yep.
you have this subtle rivalry going on with guys who really aren't into sports like that, but they're
Yes.
highly competitive. You
Yes.
know, so you have a lot of that, and
And like they say, competition, only brings out the best.
right.
So you got guys competing like that, and us being the consumer, we win every time.
All the time, all the time. And I think that's kind of like the unique thing about having worked like at Toy Biz, and back in the day, we didn't know we didn't know that the legacy of Toy Biz, or the things that we worked on, would kind of be viewed the way they're viewed now. We just wanted to do some cool stuff,
Yeah.
and so and we wanted to do cool stuff that can compete with what Soda was doing at the time, and Palisades was doing at the time, obviously what McFarlane was doing at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and we just wanted to do our cool thing with something that we knew everyone thought was cool, which was Marvel.
Right.
So I think that kind of pushed, or that was the driving force behind what made Toy Biz so special, was that competitiveness, that rivalry. Even though we were all friends and connected, it was still a competitive kind of nature amongst everybody.
Yeah, no, it definitely shows. I mean, there's guys out there that still swear that, like, they're like, no, the only legends were Toy Biz. Like, they won't even acknowledge the new Hasbro stuff.
Yep. And it's funny too, because like back in the day, guys were, you had people that were bashing some of the stuff, and there were some hiccups along the way at Toy Biz. Some of it took a long time for the female figures to really get right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was a huge, a long bumpy road with the female figures. But I mean, for the most part, like we always just tried to improve quickly, and but you're right. There's a lot of people who feel as though that there's nothing else but Toy Biz stuff, and that made it really difficult working at Hasbro at the time, because it was such a huge hurdle to get over before
Uh-huh.
people would even give it the chance or the light of day. They just be like, oh, it's not Toy Biz, it's not Toy Biz, and especially with the Marvel Universe line, that was even more difficult, because everyone was really, really into 6 inch, and then this idea or notion that Hasbro was going to scale back and do 3 and 3/4 inch. Everyone was really up in arms about that.
Oh,
And
I
and I
admit
think
it. I
and
was
I think still to this day, people still up in arms about it. That's why
I
you
was
really don't see a lot of 3 and 3/4 inch.
I was real upset when Hasbro took over, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was fun. I can't. And so I dipped out until the Red Hulk wave. The Red Hulk wave is the one that brought me back. And I was like, okay, cool. And then it was like, yeah, well, we're not going to do 6 inch anymore. We're going to do 3 3/4 inch. And I was like, what? What? Okay, no. I was like, what is this? And then those, like, you guys started off real well, and then it really became a fine-tuned machine. Like, it really got to the point where it was like, you know what? I would even say, I would go so far to say that, these ones are, rivaling some of the 6 inch figures that were coming out at the time. Those
hmm
3 3/4 inch Marvel Universe. Like, I got hooked on them, man. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was because, even though at the root of all these is the story, but with the 3 and 3/4 inch Marvel figures, you can really tell uh, a more broader story with the scales.
Yes.
You have your normal 3 and 3/4 inch guys, but not just in height, but in girth, and some of them were really lean, like Spider Man. He's short, but then also you had your 12-inch guys, your 19-inch guys, and stuff like that. So when you step back and look at everything, it's like, damn, this is like the poster that John Byrne would work on. You know, this is
Yes.
because you could
Yes.
see all of the different scales. You could see everyone was unique in their own form and everything, and that's what made it cool. And I think that's when people started to get it. Like when you get these figures and accumulate them, and you have them all on your display or your shelf on your wall or however you display them, then you start to see the magnitude of the Marvel universe. It's not just one guy; it's the whole story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the helicarrier that was put out. I had almost everything, and it was cool because I still had my old Blackbird from the old Toy Biz days.
Oh yeah, so it meshed in, it
Oh, they
fit in.
fit. And then I
Yep.
even had the old Toy Biz Face Off 3 3/4 inch Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took
Mm-hmm.
him and threw him in, and it fit perfectly. It was like, okay, like all these guys fit in the Blackbird better than the original figures that this Blackbird was made for.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with that. And then it
Yeah,
was like,
if anything, that was my great, like that's the great regret, was to not, you know, not having the chance to do more vehicles, because I wanted to do like Punisher's van,
yes,
and of course the Shield car, the Quinjet. You know, there
yes,
was a few vehicles, man, that would have been just so cool to have, because they had the vehicles are their own characteristic as well. You know,
mm-hmm.
the fantastic car and stuff like that. Um, it just would have been so fun to delve into some of those other vehicles. I wanted to do like Galactus's like that big, world shipping and throne that he has and everything, like,
Yeah.
and do something like that, like for the 19-inch, and with sounds in there, so you can
Oh
really
man.
get more stuff, and have a little peg where you can put Silver Surfer and Fire Lord and all the different hurls and everything. Like, I had it all in my head, man, but things wind up, going a different direction,
Oh,
and
Adam corrected me. It wasn't Face Off. It was Superhero Showdown. I
Superhero
was,
Showdown.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He's on the internet right now.
yeah.
That's all right, Adam. I got called out last week, so now it's
Yeah,
your turn.
yeah.
Dude, that Superhero Showdown line was so crazy, because basically it was like Marvel Legends just pantographed down.
Yes.
And man, I remember when we first did that and we actually saw these figures pared down like that, and we were all just like, holy, like, this is really, really cool. Back at Toy Biz, we were like, man, these look really dope. And I think ever since then, that it was in my mind of looking at, Marvel 3 3/4 inch a different way. Because before that, we had the old Super Wars and Super Power figures and all that. But that that Superhero Showdown line, like, really just changed as far as the detail, and
Hmm.
and what could be done with articulation and all that stuff. So, and of course, guys weren't too happy with the Marvel Universe line. They wanted more like Superhero Showdown. But but I was pretty proud of it, and but that Showdown line was really, really dope, really cool.
Yeah, I remember. Like I said, I wasn't happy with Universe at all. I was just like, man, I can't believe this. Like first Legends, now this. Like what's going on here? And then slowly but surely, it I don't know. I don't remember what figure it was, but one of them I like walked over. I was walking by the pegs, and I was like, hold on. I want that. I think it was the X Force Archangel. Or
Okay.
no, the
Yeah,
normal.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
the normal Archangel. That's what it was. Because the X
Okay.
Force was an exclusive, but
Yeah.
it was right around then when the Archangel came out, and the Warpath, the X Force
Yeah.
Warpath, is right
Yeah.
when I kind of started to like, whoa, hold on, like wait a minute, they're doing Warpath, like what am I missing here? It's
That's when we really started to roll, because
uh-huh.
really, in the beginning, Marvel Universe originally, it was really supposed to be only 8 figures, like 8 characters, and that was
Hmm.
it. And that was like really as involved as at the time Hasbro wanted to really get. And so I just, we just went and did more and more and more. But the first series, it just wasn't right. And now this is when Adam Van Wickler and Gentle Giant kind of comes in, because they, I had bumped into Adam at a party and everything, and he demanded that he work on the Marvel Universe stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
because what happened was, we would tease everything, and I had a Wolverine, the X Force Wolverine,
Okay.
and I brought it to the Comic Con, and we had a panel. I just put it out of my pocket and put it on the table, and everyone just lost it. So, so Adam was like, "Look, I need to work on it." So, talking to him, and he just had the same mindset, and then he worked on the Green Goblin, and when they stepped in, the detail really started to hit hit like be dialed in. But then when we started to play with the mass of the character, like the girth and the articulation, like a little bit more, like that warpath, like constructing a whole new body, and then of course like that archangel with the wings and everything. It was like we really started to push it with the series too. And I think because we kind of got our footing, we knew where we wanted to go, we knew what we were doing, we knew what, we kind of worked all the kinks out and all that stuff, and it just started to roll after that.
Heck yeah. Yeah, like I said, that was pretty much right around when I was like, "Hey, hold on, there's some good stuff happening over here." And then I was hooked. Oh man, I was hooked.
And also too, we were using like Marvel artists at the time to do the packaging,
Yep, I
the
remember.
packaging art, and I was writing all the file cards. And I mean, I actually remember like there was this one writer over at Marvel who loved the file cards and he wanted to work on them, and he just could not do it. And I was like, no, no, I'll finish them from here on out.
you know,
you know,
that's good, man. I'm glad you want to do this, but
yeah,
well,
because I
I,
had it all in my head, like how these characters are connected, and then like using like the internet and emails and different memos and
well,
and
even the way that you guys incorporated like the extra little character on the corner and stuff. Like what
hmm
was it? Deadpool was in there, and Rocket Raccoon, and
right, right,
yeah.
right. It was like just having. It was really my whole goal with the Marvel Universe line was to make it like an embodiment of the comic books. All the little things that you see in the comics, the write-in section and some of the ads that you would see, the different nods to other characters and all that. Even like the tasty cake ads used to be in the Marvel comics. Like,
Yes.
that actually came into play with having like Rocket Raccoon in the back and Nick Fury and giving little blurbs and all that stuff. We wanted to incorporate so much of the comic book experience into that line. And actually, at one point, I was experimenting with doing different scents. So if you open up the package, it would smell like an old comic book, like an
Oh
old comic book
wow.
shop. So I was
Oh my
experimenting
God,
and
that's
using
great.
and like using the Chem Lab to break down different the scent of a comic book, and it was all these different all these different smells like of grass and mildew and just different things in nature that all will come together and have that scent. But what I wanted to do was have that whole comic book experience like in your tour from the moment you walk into the comic book shop or you walk to the spinning rack, that whole experience, man. I just wanted to capture that into tours, into the action figure life.
Yeah, no, there was definitely even without the sense, man, there was definitely an experience. It was fun. It was definitely a good ride. And
Hmm.
then you could tell right when something changed, and it was funny because like they started cutting the articulation, and I remember I'd heard even then it was like, oh yeah, no, Vonner left.
Yeah. Yeah, and that whole period was just so weird, man. It was I mean, because it's the business. It's kind of like what we sign up for. We sign up for this, and we kind of go with the economic ups and downs of retail.
Right.
But then also too, in the toy industry, it's internally it becomes like a numbers game. And and unfortunately, layoffs are all too common,
Yeah.
and it's something that you can't control. And we wind up working so close to this stuff, and now, and during that era, the internet and social media was coming into play. That you know you, the designers now almost synonymous with the product in ways that never was the case before.
Right.
Like for instance, like with Adam, like we never knew growing up, you never heard of the guys who sculpted toys or engineered stuff, and you had no access to these people.
No.
Now,
Yeah.
now you do,
Yeah.
and so at that time, you're working so close with the brand, and then becoming the face of the brand, and working on and interacting with the fans and everything, and then for that whole ordeal to happen, it was just so strange. And then it was the whole petition to hire me back, and it was like you had so many people knowing the private moments of your life,
Right.
and yet you had to explain this over and over and over again, and that's what made it the whole period kind of strange for me.
I
That
bet.
it was such a public thing. Whereas if you get fired, or you get laid off, or your job closes down, or something happens, I mean, first you have this moment of panic, like what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
where I'm going to go from here, and then you got to figure out, let me get my bearings straight, let me just calm down and everything. But everyone knew it was such a galvanizing moment, and everyone knew, and it was such just a weird time to go through.
Heck yeah. Man.
I don't mean to make it. I hope I
No.
didn't make it
No,
too
no, no,
depressing.
no. I'm just kind of like, yeah, no, I agree because it's like I couldn't even really imagine if just like one day like like for instance at one time I had gotten laid off from a job, but I couldn't imagine if everybody on there, like everybody on social media, was just like, hey Cheney, what happened? What happened? What happened?
Yeah, yeah, like what's going on and what happened, and then it's like bring them back, and and it's like, well, maybe I don't want to go back. Maybe they don't want
Right?
me back.
Yeah. Maybe there was a reason behind it, guys. Like you don't know the whole story here. Just how about y'all just step out of my life for a minute and let me do my thing? I got you. I
Right.
got you.
But then also too, man, I think that's at when all of that happened. I think that's what really crystallized how important Marvel is to the fan, to how important Marvel's continuity beyond just comics, and you kind
Mm-hmm.
of see that now with the movie stuff. Like once these new actors start coming in and playing these characters that you know Robert Downey Jr. is familiar with, Chris Hemsworth is familiar with, and we get these new actors in, it's going to be kind of strange,
Yeah.
because we're so used to that continuity.
Yep.
It hits us, it's right, and we collectors do not like change. That's the number one thing. Collectors don't like change,
Well,
and
like just like I said earlier, there's guys out there still to this day that are like, no, Toy Biz Marvel Legends is where it's at. It's like
yeah,
and all the time I'll tell people, I'm like, hey man, like, have you checked out like the new Legends? Like, have you even looked at them? No, I refuse to. I'm like, well, here, I'll put one in one of my buddy's hands because he's like legitimate. Like, no, I only stick with those, and I'll put a new figure in his hand. And he's like, oh wow, this is actually really nice. I'm like, yeah, like
right, yeah,
the, you got to
you
give it
see
a
that.
chance.
you got to give it a chance, and you see that evolution. And sometimes we're not ready for that evolution, but the evolution has to occur. And I think that's one reason why I'm digging the Mezco stuff right now. The Mez, because I was really adamant about having soft goods on a 6 inch figure. Like to me, that was a no no. It just didn't look right to me.
Uh-huh.
When I would talk about it, when I would try to imagine it, because it would look like a doll to me. It would break the illusion of a cool action figure, like
Right.
being pulled directly out of the pages of the comic book. But Mez changed my mind on that completely, and now like seeing how their figures have that the soft goods on them, man, it just adds a whole level, a whole new dimension to the action figure where it doesn't look wonky, it doesn't look fake, for lack of a better word. It really looks good and works really well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Wouldn't you agree with that, Ernie?
Uh, I yeah, David. Unfortunately, I still haven't jumped on that Mezco train yet.
It was jarring. It was jarring in the beginning.
Yeah,
It was very, very jarring in the beginning.
but
But
I do like and see exactly what you said, the change that has come from it.
hmm
Or the people who are now doing the whole soft goods, like our friend CJ, and just making something out of regular characters so much more. It's that change of wow, and can I accept this? Exactly like what you're saying. I mean, because there's still those Star Wars fans out there who've still never even touched Black Series, because
yep,
to them it's 3 3/4 and that's it.
I'm the same way. I was not on board with the Black Series at all, and it just it's to me it spit in the face of what Star Wars was about, and that's kind of how I felt about the 6 inch Joes too. But after seeing them and giving it a shot, it's like, wow, I can appreciate the 6 inch for what it is, and I can also appreciate the 3 3/4 inch for what it is as well. I can separate them,
Yeah.
but it's still a little, sometimes it's not such a smooth transition. I have to actually put some thought and effort. Like, all right, man, this is the 6 inch, so things are gonna be a little bit different. I got to prepare myself, but I can appreciate the differences now.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, I went through. I want to say I went through the same thing, but in reverse with the Marvel Universe stuff. I was just like, eh. Like I said, I wasn't with it, and then I turned into a junkie, and I was like, I gotta get them all. I need all
Man,
of them.
it was so crazy because when that Marvel Universe, I remember there was guys that were so pissed. I mean, I'll never forget. There was this one guy. He came into the Hasbro booth at the time like 5 or 6 times, angry. He would walk into the booth, look and walk out, come back, look around, walk out, and then finally he was like, what's the deal with this 3 3/4 and stuff? And he really didn't want to hear anything I had to say. He just wanted to soak in his bitterness. Like he was just ticked off. And
Yeah.
then finally I had to tell him, I was like, look, man, it's kind of like I understand what it is. Like, in my mind at that time, my mom made the best spaghetti, and no, I didn't want anyone else's spaghetti.
Right.
I didn't want. I didn't want to try anyone else's spaghetti.
Right.
But then when I ventured out and started to eat, other people's spaghetti, I acquired an appreciation for it, and that's just what it is.
But you
Toy
never.
Biz.
But you never told Mama that.
I never told Mama that. Nah, I never told Mama that. But it's the same thing. I understand. You almost feel like there's this trust factor that's broken when you go outside of Toy Biz. At that time, go outside of Toy Biz and either get the Hasbro Marvel Legends or the Hasbro Marvel Universe figures. You know, you had to go through this mental hurdle to try to get yourself to wrap around it.
Yeah,
And and I,
it was a
and I got
complete.
it. I
Yeah.
understood it. I understood that. But that's the change that collectors don't like to face.
Yes.
Collectors don't like, and that's what Jesse Falcon. Jesse who created Marvel Legends. That was always his thing, man. He was like, you know, you're never gonna win. You're never gonna win. All you can do is just keep plugging in, keep doing what you need to do, and eventually it will shift. But the collector, man, they don't like change. So and if they hate your stuff, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, because you're
if they
getting a
constantly
reaction.
complaining, right? If you're getting that reaction, they constantly complaining, that, you're doing something right because you have their attention.
Right.
Now that you have their attention, listen to them and implement what they want. But still and yet you're the creator. The creator has to create, and that's what you have to do. So those were some wise words that Jesse had, kicked years ago, before everything, and that just stuck with me. And I think that's why I never really took it too personal. I understood where guys were coming from, and and speaking from their needs and their passions and their wants and everything. So I understood it. I got it.
Yeah. No, that's way awesome. That's really the way the best explanation for that too is, there's some guys that are like, no, I'm not. I don't want. I don't want to change. I don't. I have this ideal of what it was, and that's all I know, and I don't really want anything new. And it's like, okay,
Hmm.
I get that. I understand that.
Because you also remember when McFarlane toys, when it first came out, like they were cool, but they
Hmm.
weren't as cool as it wound up being. They were a little soft, a little chunky, and everything. But
Hmm.
then it was like a shift, and McFarlane toys look totally different than anything that was out there. Like everything else is little kitty
Hmm.
next to his stuff,
Yes.
and and I think that when McFarlane toys hit, it hit at a time when collectors of comics, of collectibles, of toys were evolving and changing. We were getting older. And I think as we were getting older and a little bit more sophisticated in our views, McFarlane hit and it was like, wow, like this is almost like being a kid again, but I'm an adult. Now it's hitting me, it's hitting all these other senses. And I have this disposable income now. So,
Yes.
before I could I had to rely on mom to get my GI Joe, but now I can get that cool Texas Chainsaw Massacre that I always wanted. You
Yes.
know, so but it was that same kid. We just evolved and got older, and I think that McFarlane hit right at that pivotal time, and not only McFarlane, but the whole toy industry in itself kind of shifted. And that's when we became we went from being consumers to innovators and creators and everything. And like a lot of the sculptors and designers and painters and model makers, they were no longer just consumers. They were actually making this stuff now, so they can implement certain things that back in the day, toy manufacturers weren't even thinking about. The sculptors weren't even thinking about. But because we were inundated with so much creativity and music and movies and animation and all that stuff, we would just hit with everything at the same time. All those experiences, we just funneled down and put that into whatever category we were working in. So at the time, we were all in toys, and we just put all that creative energy into that. And with that, man, you just had some cool sculptors like Dave Cortez and Phil Ramirez doing cool stuff. You had cool companies doing stuff. Jerry Macaluso and Soda was doing cool stuff. Like everyone was just, it was like just looking back at it, it was like a renaissance. It was like it was amazing. It's an amazing experience to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Adam right now. It's just I this is just a treat right now to even have you on. Just breaking it all down like this. This is amazing, man. This is
Man,
this is very awesome.
I want a drink and a smoking jacket. I'm just sitting back here. Just
Hey, that's
Listening
me.
to every
That is me and my wife every night. Drinks and smoking jackets. That's what we do.
see, there you go. That's what I'm saying. This is great because everything that you're saying, I'm getting in touch with, and like the memories hit you, and the feelings of that. I still remember my first McFarlane Spawn figures. One was
Mm-hmm.
the female looking samurai one that had the gear
Mm-hmm.
on, and then
Mm-hmm.
that elephant one. The
Yes.
detail in that
Yes.
elephant and the stuff that it came with, that's still one of my favorite things ever that made me pick up something different. Exactly
Yep.
what you're saying. The artistry of it all.
Yeah. And also too, around that time, like Claiborne Moore those action figures out. Stan Winston had his line. I mean, it was a lot, and it was just like, and we were just eating it all up, man. And
A-
and, and it
and
was so funny too.
the only way to keep up was Toy Fair.
Yeah, that was it.
Yep,
That was it.
that was it.
Don't give
That
me
was the
that,
only. That
Cheney.
was the that was our social media.
Yeah,
I loved it. I was so excited every time to get that.
Oh man, I mean, like I'm just sitting back thinking, remembering, man. It was just like it was such a wild time, and also like the factories were the costs were very very low. There weren't a lot of the materials were still low. The price of petroleum and plastics and everything, the price of steel. So, and also the factories, they were working in a different method where you can kind of have things done on consignment. So I mean, guys were just coming in doing some really cool stuff, but they also were going belly up as well. They weren't lasting too long. And as quickly as it rose, it fizzled out just as fast too, which makes that era like really even more unique because it'll just never happen again.
yeah. Would you say that? Would you say that probably our current, well, maybe not right now, but maybe like say like 3 months ago, the current toy, I guess, or collector space has been not the same as that, but it's gotten way better. It's got almost like the second coming of that in a sense. Like people are doing more things now with figures and toys than they have
Yeah,
since
I
that
think
golden
that.
age that you were speaking of.
I think that. I think it is. It's a new era coming out, especially like with imports and everything, and also just with Marvel and DC. Um, you're starting to see a little bit more licensing going on. A lot more companies doing their interpretation of these characters, like Playfets and all that stuff. So you're starting to see like these different iterations of these characters, done. But my only thing with that is it's the same characters over and over again. I would
Yeah.
love to be able to see more stuff. Like I remember for a short time I was in the process of working on stuff for Valiant Comics and doing characters based off of those guys. And
Ooh,
I would love to see stuff like that, and
like
some old image characters done in action figure form.
because there
I
was never an X-Men war, was there?
No, and I was going to do it. I had it already. I had a prototype, kind of already in the works, and I think that really would have been very very cool. A new dimension, showing different characters, and I think that's that's a thing that I wish was a little bit more wide open as far as getting more brands and characters out there, like from the '80s. In the '80s was like this uncharted land where you just had everything. Now, in this era that we're in now, that everything has to be wrapped around content or movie, cartoon, or brand. Like basically, it's just dominated by Marvel and DC. Now
Yeah.
the comic book fan in me, the Marvel fan in me loves that, but
Yes.
the creator in me wants to see more. He wants to, and I think people want more too. It's just that they just have to be steered in a direction. What I hate when guys say, when companies make yet another iteration of the same character, and guys are like, it's almost like they're brainwashed into thinking that they need to have it. Where it's like, I wish we would all kind of rise up and say, no, we want something else. We want something new. We want more. I already have enough Spider-Man or Hulk, or I want some different characters into a line. Sprinkle in some more guys.
Well,
I
I
understand.
can never have enough Wolverines, but that's just me.
Ever.
I mean, now the cool thing about doing comic book stuff is that you can explore different artist interpretations, and you can
Right.
really get funky with it. Where you can definitely have some different styles, but it's like, I I would like to see that as opposed to another Tiger Stripe Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, I would want like I've got we're good on Tiger Stripe Wolverine right now. I think we're pretty solid between the Mafex and the Legends. Um, I want the special ops Wolverine. I want
yeah,
the
Brood Wolverine, stuff like that.
yes,
Give me some different ones.
or give me
Like some,
the what is it, the that 90s basic X-Men costume one where it was, it's the yellow in the middle and the blue on the sides and he's wearing
hmm
the yellow gloves. Give me that. Give me, what else? Give me the Fang costume one. Give me, I'll take all of them, man.
yeah.
Like I want all that stuff. I want all that bizarre stuff. I want
Yeah, like people. I don't know if people just don't know or don't request it or just don't like it, but I always love the spiky version of the thing, and I would love to see an action figure of that version of the thing with all the spikes on it and everything. That I just love that mutation. When that happened, and it was such a different look. And he was also like kind of wrestling at the time too, so you can throw in like different, wrestling federation guys that the thing was with at that time too. So
heck yeah.
it's
That's what was
sometimes I
that's
just
what was
want guys to I just want guys to open up the comic book a little bit more,
yes.
explore a little bit more, you
Yeah.
know, and go a little bit more deep.
Yeah, that's what was so neat about Toy Biz Marvel Legends is you would get that like weird off like, 4-pack or something of stuff that wasn't really in the norm. Like for instance the oh, I forgot what 4-pack it was. It came with that like anime version Iron Man and that alternate universe like Human Torch, but he had the wings and the Thing.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
forgot what that was.
Let me go. I'm going into the database. I'm trying to go into the files of my mind.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was. It was from. I forgot what story exactly it was. Maybe it was. Yeah, House of M. I think it was House of M. I think Adam's right. It was House of M because it had the Thing, but he looked all different, but because he was like all like scared and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Yep.
yep, and it had the Human Torch, and it had that Iron Man, and there was one other figure that I can't remember. I want to say, but that's what was cool is those were so off. Like it was so off the normal pace. It was
hmm
like this is neat. Like, and there was a lot of people that get it just because it looked cool.
Right, 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 right.
There's
Yeah, I see Mervin. I wish DC had a line Marvel Legends besides Essentials because the McFarlane line ain't doing it.
yeah,
Yeah, that McFarlane DC line, I like it. I just, I think in my mind, whenever I think of a McFarlane figure, I think of extreme paint, sculpt, and stuff like that. And
yes,
and the DC ones are just scaled back from that,
and they're
from
huge.
from what McFarlane is, and so I think that's why it's a little weird to me.
Hey, give us the what is it, the cursed or the vampire Batman.
hmm
give us that one, like done up right, like the way a McFarlane toy would be done with, the real detailed sculpt work and the highly detailed paint. That would be
Right, right,
awesome.
right. Like
Get
I would love to see what McFarlane does, like with Solomon Grundy or like Swamp Thing or something like that.
we were just talking about
Yep.
this last week, actually.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this and like how big Solomon Grundy would be, because the scale on these are 7 inch, so Grundy would have to be at least 10 inches tall.
And probably come as like a box set.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that Solomon Grundy could be. I mean, just the Legion of Doom would be like super dope, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so I mean, the rollout is kind of strange to me because it's where do you go from here? It's
It's all over the place too. It's so all over the place. Like it's
yeah,
like I think it would have been kind of better to kind of like at least stick with like maybe one or two, just like keep it real kind of like basic in the beginning, like and then spread out, because
right, right,
people are
right.
looking for a new DC line to hop onto,
Yeah,
because classics is over and done, and DC Direct or DC Collectibles, they never really got a solid footing. Like, I don't mind the essentials, but there's just no accessories with them,
mm-hmm,
and for the at that
mm-hmm,
price point. But a lot of people are still looking like, give me something that I can hop on and hop on with and do. And there's a lot of guys out there that are like, I did classics, I'm good. I'm not gonna hop on, but there's still so many other like new iterations of characters and new characters and stuff that the people that are currently holding the license, which is McFarlane, can do.
right, right, right. Now you remember? Did you see that Superman versus Black Adam anime, that cartoon?
I don't believe I saw that. Ernie, have you
I mean,
seen that?
I'm sorry. The Superman versus Shazam.
No, I heard that one was good too.
It was really dope, and I would love to see McFarlane do versions of that, like animated styles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I would love to see just more stylized. I think versions of the DC figures. But the crazy part, I think one of the reasons why you know we kind of want to see it because the DC characters are just so iconic. I mean, like I mean, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Hawkman. I mean, they're just so iconic, and they, from a symbolic standpoint, the symbolism, the symbols that they use, I should say, are just so recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
More so than some religious symbols.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
It's very true.
so to me, DC just overall, not just with the action figures, but overall, is just in a weird space right now where it just seems like it can't find its footing, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like sad to me. It's kind of sad to me. It's like you know because it's such a no brainer. I mean, these guys are so iconic. Like, how can you mess Superman up? How can you mess Batman up?
Yeah.
Or just like have just one dimensional versions of those characters when you can really do some really cool things with them.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do, and it's just like I don't know, man. It's
And then they're really obscure characters. Just there's room to really redesign them and make them really look cool.
right.
So like one of the things that we did, working at Hasbro, working on Marvel Universe, is that we worked real close with the publisher, like with the guys, Marvel Comics guys. So with the artists and the writers and everything. So we would try to create this cohesive um, platform where what you see in the comic book, you would see in the toy. Hopefully, that would show up in the video game. So it was just the continuity was there, and I think that with this DC stuff, that's just what is lacking, the continuity of it all. It's just not hanging together.
Right. Yeah, because one thing, one thing's one way and one thing's another way, and then none of it connects to a movie. And if you can get it all to kind of link up and work together, then he might be on to something.
Right, right. It's almost as if from the outside looking in, I would say that there's a lot of chefs in that kitchen.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And there's a lot of bosses that go, I don't care what you do, just make me money.
Yeah.
Like
Unfortunately, I mean, and this is a business. I mean, at the end of the day, we all want to make money. We all
right,
want a successful product,
right. But
but
there's the it feels like there's a whole like a lot of the people have their a foot on them saying, hey, get this out as quick as possible, make sure people like it so that I get money. And it's like, okay.
right, right,
And
right.
then they'll be on one track to go, okay, we're doing this, this is the plan, sounds good, okay, all right, we're all on board. And then the boss comes in and goes, no, I don't like that, switch it, change
Yeah.
it all
I
up
mean,
right now. And it's like, we're
yeah.
almost done though, we're like 75% done, I don't care, change it.
hmm I mean,
You
even with DC's editor getting the boot, it's just like wow, man. It's like everything is just kind of on different levels, and I think that's one reason why so many fans, and not only fans but even like retail and different manufacturers, and everyone is behind Marvel because Marvel moves in a more of a singular unit. Like
right.
like there isn't. It's not all over the place. It seems like the the voice is a little bit more singular.
Mm-hmm.
With Marvel, and even though there's other people in play too, but it just seems as though that there's a everything's a little bit more streamlined when it comes to the characters and the use of the characters and what they're about, as opposed to DC. It's a little bit everywhere, and that kind of is disheartening.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, it's literally It feels like they're just like, we're just throwing anything we can at the wall, and whatever sticks, we're gonna run with that.
hmm hmm
And hopefully they can find something that that sticks. It just it seems it's like you said. There's more of a uniformity with the Marvel stuff that you can see it in the product, you can see it in the movies. If they make one movie and something happens, okay, well, we're going to continue that story into the next movie so that there's a uniformity there, and you don't get lost.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
well, look at what's on the shelf. It's basically the latest wave is the Black Widow wave, and you got movie figures in there with comic figures as well. But they're giving you an option and a choice to still change it up, but they're still staying on point to where what's on the shelf of the DC are these larger figures that are just sitting there now, and we've talked about this still again, and then they even threw in the animated like Batman and Supes, and they're huge and they don't go together right. So
right.
it's like even though Marvel is consistent, they're still giving you variety, but the right kind of variety. We'll give you MCU, we'll give you comic, and hey, we'll even throw in somebody to finish a team for you, or to start the
Exactly,
next team. And the DC
exactly.
stuff is like, here's everything, here you go. Or we're just gonna keep it like this and put it out.
Yep.
That's I think what the problem is exactly that is they need somebody to go over it and say, no, we need to do this, this, and this instead of just almost like giving a thumbs up to everything as far as okay, that
Yeah.
that sounds good. But
Yeah.
that's why and Marvel is holding it down just for that reason of the giving us variety, but the correct variety.
The correct variety. And again, going back to Jesse Falcon, I mean, that was something that was his mantra, man. Like having variety in the line, because just it, to me, when you walk into a comic book store and you would see like the spinner rack and everything, you see all the comics there, all the different titles and stuff. Like that's how, even though they're all different, they all hang together. You know what I mean?
Uh
And
huh.
that's how the Marvel, that to me, like that's how a toy line, action figure line should be. And you know, especially when you're dealing with with the comic book kind of platform.
Right.
And Marvel just does that right. And it's a lot of variety in it, but it hangs together. And DC stuff is just it just isn't,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
all
And
over the place.
yeah, and again, like I said, that's just disheartening to me because I think you know deep down in our souls, we're all Superman fans. Like we all were that kid that got a towel or a shirt, tied it around our neck, and pretend that we were flying.
Hmm.
And that's just Superman, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think that we all have this love for these iconic characters, and to it's almost like when you watch a Star Wars movie, no matter how you feel about the Star Wars franchise, if you watch A New Hope or you watch, The Rise of Skywalker, there's a DNA, there's a look, there's a sound, and there's a feel in all of Star Wars films that you just that's it's part of the DNA of Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like when you hear the
that's
music, you know what it is. You know
that that's
you
that's
see that
Ernie's bread
scroll,
and butter right there.
and that's missing in the whole DC thing with their entertainment and
Yeah,
everything. It's just not. It, it's just lost its way in a lack of a better term.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, Ernie is what is it? It's Star Wars before anything, right?
Right. Star Wars is life.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
And
whether you hate it or love it, how you feel about it or not, I mean, Star Wars is, I mean, that's part of our chromosome, man. It's embedded in there.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
and it defies logic. Like Star Wars really defies logic. It should not be around now. And I mean, we're talking about a movie that came out in 1977. You know, in an era when the country was still trying to find its footing. And then you got the space opera movie coming out, and bam, it's this cultural phenomenon, and it's still around. It's still relevant, and it shouldn't be. And it had everything against it. It had everything against it from being what it is, but yet it worked. And I can't even imagine a world without it. Despite
Correct.
the fact that I did not like Rise of Skywalker or any of the Dune movies, but it's still Star Wars, regardless of it. It's still Star Wars, and it's still, I have to partake in it. I
Yeah.
have to.
That's the whole correct answer is it's still Star Wars. No matter what it's Star Wars. And
Hmm.
I can like or not dislike the other ones, but it's still my Star Wars. But it's such a staple in mine because of not only the background of Star Wars in the movie, if anything, but everything that came from the beginning of action figures to how he had the rights and what he wanted to do. And then we had the era of Kenner. And then,
Right.
from Kenner to Hasbro till now. And I still get upset about the Black Series now. Like we should have, a build a figure series, as we would call build a droid, just like Marvel. We should be having those extra things. And my thing is the variety too. We should not be getting so many repeats of characters, but yet because it's still Star Wars, I'm still buying it every time.
Right.
And
which is
so
which is so weird that having such a high repetitive rate of the same characters, because Star Wars, again, defying logic. I mean, you can throw in any character that had a millisecond of screen time,
yep,
and people will lose their minds over
I want it.
it.
They'll
I
gladly
can't
buy it.
I can't wait until we get we have all these Marvel Legend waves. Like I just said, the Black Widow wave. Like we name every wave, and the sad part is we can't do that with Legends. So I can't wait for the day where I
Mm,
say, "Oh, the Cantina wave's coming out next." Oh,
right.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
wave 3. Like I'll take it. Give me the whole Cantina band, even though they're all the same figure and they just come with a different instrument. I want that whole set.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
it to me.
Give me all the bounty hunters. Like give me all of them. Like
Yes.
and that's the thing. Like Star Wars just has this. And it's so funny too how fans, despite the length of screen time, fans know exactly what that character is, who it is, the name of it, and everything. And it, in my mind, it just defies why have the same characters over and over again. But clearly, there's a demand for all these other guys, and the line may still do just as well.
Yeah, it's cool. They're trying. Like the very recent episode of the Clone Wars was awesome. This one that just aired on the season 7 with Ahsoka. In the background of the 1313 area that she is, they had now made it canon the old Kenner figures from
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
in the whole dress up, their colors, to even how they looked. It was great. They had like the hammerhead was in there,
yeah.
even red and blue snaggletooth. They even had like a Ponda Baba with like a belly on it, the walrus man.
Right,
It
right,
was cool
right.
to see that. Like you're throwing the nostalgic Kenner in there, and like you're
Yeah.
saying, if I can spot that just from those few seconds, absolutely would I take any background character that you give me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's funny too, man, because I think that, there's kids. See, a lot of stuff that happens in the toy industry, I feel is always kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, by saying kids don't want certain characters, they only want this. And sometimes I find that not to be true because when Star Wars first hit, I mean, we just wanted everyone. We didn't want a ton of Luke Skywalkers, and we wanted everybody.
Right.
And in my mind, like kids are still the same way. The only thing is like we have this self-fulfilling prophecy, which turns into like this brainwashing thing where we convince ourselves that kids only want one or two things when in reality, kids want just as much variety as collectors do.
Right.
Kids want cool stuff too. Kids want to have their world built up just as much as we do.
Yeah, they're like,
But for
give me
some,
all the characters.
yeah, but for some reason, we think that kids just want the same old. And I think that, if we give them a little bit more to choose from, then, their consumer purchasing awareness may be a little bit different, or their purchasing power, their purchasing habits may be a little bit different.
I think you guys do it right with the Mattel WWE series as far as getting repeat characters, but then in their WrestleMania gear or their gear that they wore this, or you're going to get this extra item of, say, the Slammy Award, or
Right,
you're going to get the Bellas with their jerseys and the
right.
hats backwards. Like, yes, that works
Yeah, because
definitely.
because in WWE, it's like we have, you know, two movies, three movies every week, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. And then you have
Yes.
your pay-per-view stuff. But within all that, the superstars, they want to be unique individuals as well. So it's not just Wolverine wearing two or three costumes. These guys want to be different all the time, yet still fall into this, and yet still have some continuity too. So like there's different, even though Undertaker is known to wear black, Undertaker is coming to the ring wearing different types of looks. You know what I mean? Like different types of gear and coming in on motorcycles and all kinds of stuff. So with that, it's like you want to be able to capture that variety, capture that moment of time,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes that superstar or that offering that much more unique. So because of the guy appear and content so much, there's always little subtle things that we can do to reflect that and to make that that offering different.
Heck yeah. Yeah, because you guys have literally like mounds and mounds of material to work with.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's mounds and mounds of material. Then the flip side is like, you got to work with what you got.
Right.
So and 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 with that, I mean, as things can come into play that would never happen in a movie or a comic book. Like these are real people, so they get hurt. Life situations come into play. They may want to change their hairstyle, change their gear. They get a tattoo. Like there's so many things that these superstars will do, and then on the flip side, we have to react
Right.
to that
Adjust. Yeah.
and adjust. Right, so that alone just makes whatever we do for that offering unique. So there's
Yeah.
always going to be some subtle differences, even though maybe tons of John Cena's out there. It, there's different looks, different eras, different moments that we can tap into.
And what's cool is like, you can tap into the different ones and, almost, like say you've got the turbo John Cena fan, he's going to want them all.
Hmm.
You got the, the ultimate collector. And then there's other people that are just kind of like, I didn't know they made that. I want that. That's like my favorite version.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. I'm still waiting for my 3-pack.
What's that?
That's the Rikishi, Scotty 2 Hottie, and Grandmaster Sexay.
Oh,
Give me that 3-pack, and I'm buying it.
nice,
And he better be
nice.
able to do the worm, and I'm sold.
Yo, it's
So
funny.
there you go.
It's funny. I've been pushing Bill McKenna to add it's certain talent we can't have into the line because of a multitude of reasons, but sometimes we just have
Correct.
to kick at them and make them, get them upset and all that stuff. But one of the guys I'm always trying to push into the line is Hercules Hernandez. Like back in the day when I was a kid, Hercules Hernandez just looked so cool. He had the chain wrapped around his neck and all that stuff. And it was just like, this dude is going to destroy whoever he faces in the ring. Like, he just had that look. He was just cool to me. So I'm always trying to push Bill to make a Hercules Hernandez.
That would be awesome. Old ones like that is always cool. I like when you see that in a classics line.
Mm-hmm.
Were
Mm-hmm.
were you a part of any of the new, which I love right now? That's up is the crossover with them looking like the He-Man figures.
Yeah, in the beginning when I first got onto the team, that was like one of the mashup concepts that we had worked on, and then it wound up evolving and changing and everything, and then it was a timing thing to to not interfere with the movie and everything. So it was really in the beginning, it was like, how do we knew we wanted to make this offering. How do we approach it? Do we make it like He-Man figures, or do we make it look like the WWE figures? So um, then eventually, Bill Beneke came on board, and he worked on that line, and it really, really came into its own, having that classic He-Man look, the classic Motu look. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a really it's such a no-brainer, man, because WWE and Master Universe, they both came up like around the same time.
Yes.
So it just makes so much sense to have that mashup occur, and to actually have it, in our hands. So it's really cool. It's going to be fun. It's really, really a really fun line.
I know it caught my eye because I'm not really, I've never, like, I think the height of me being into any kind of wrestling was back when I was a kid, and my neighbor, he had all of the wrestlers in the ring and the whole deal.
Hmm.
And I checked him out pretty much like, through him, and that's as far as it went. I don't think I ever owned a wrestling figure except for the ones that you like, the little rubber ones that you'd put your thumbs in.
Hmm.
I had some of those, but that was about it. And so, seeing these, I'm like, oh wow, these are really cool. I was telling Ernie, I was like, I stood there and I looked at the Sting for a while.
Hmm.
I was like, man, should I do this or should I not? I'm like, because
Should I jump or should I stay?
yeah, because it's like if I do this, I'm gonna end up getting the Grayskull ring. I'm gonna end up like buying all these, all this stuff that it's. I know myself. I'm just like, oh, well,
Oh
I
yeah,
get.
you know yourself, and see, and this is why I love collectors, because collectors would do everything they can to convince themselves not to get on board. I don't,
Yes.
I don't have the space, I don't have the time, I
Yeah.
don't have this, I don't have that. But then it's also that little crackhead that's in you that
Yep.
has to have it. You gotta get it. It's the curiosity of it. Where is this line gonna go?
Yeah.
I need to have it. It makes me feel this way. It reminds me of that. And then next thing you know, you pop in two, three, four figures, and now you deep.
Yep.
Now we got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm just, I'm taking the case home. Have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's bad, man. It's bad. It's just like, ugh, man,
I
oh
was
man.
going to, but then I couldn't because the ones that I found on the shelf were already variants.
Mm,
And you know how that
mm-hmm.
gets to a collector because
Yeah,
some of
yeah,
them
yeah.
had the name on it and then some of them didn't, and it was sitting right in front of me and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to have to buy the whole set now, both of them,
Oh
because
yeah.
one's regular and
Oh
one's a
yeah.
variant."
That's why I love variants, man. That's why like with the Marvel Universe line, man, I would do like stand variants, like change the name on the stands, do like, color variants, like anything to add a subtle difference to make the collector go crazy.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
you have to buy it. You have to buy it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of should you or would you. You have to. You got to.
Yeah.
And
And if you
that's what I
can't
was
get
that's
it,
what I love.
if you can't find it, that's all you're thinking about all the time. Is just like,
Oh yeah.
ah, man, I need the one because the stand had a different name on it, or I need the Green Goblin without the mask. I need the Norman
Mm-hmm.
Osborn unmasked figure. I have no use for it right now, but I know I have to have it.
You
Um,
gotta have it.
yeah.
And then the ultimate is, and of course, from a manufacturer standpoint, I do not condone that, thievery. But from a creative standpoint, I like when people steal stuff to swap it out with other figures in the package and all that stuff. Because it's like you wanted it so bad that you had to break the law and risk yourself to take it. And I kind of like that. It's the rebellion. It's that rebel in it, that you try to lie to yourself, you convince yourself you don't want it. I'm stealing. Take it.
Yeah.
And to me, like that's the ultimate form of appreciation when you steal
Yeah.
it.
That's when you're just like, guess what, guys? We made it. They're stealing them now. They're swapping them
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
box. We did it.
yeah.
We
We
did it.
did it. I love that. I love that. See a new picture pop up on the internet, of a package swap, and I'm like, that's right, guys. Keep on, keep on.
Oh man.
I never thought of it that way until now.
Yeah. Yeah, me either.
Next time I see it on the shelf, I'm going to be like, "Congratulations."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go ahead and if you guys have any questions for Dave, we'll go ahead and start throwing them in the chat, and then we'll get these questions knocked out and call it a night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. When do we get an ultimate macho man? Hmm. I don't know. You gotta stay tuned for that.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because the queen rises to the top. Now, Adam, that goes without question. You know I love you. You know I love you.
He just wanted to hear it again. You've already said it once in the show.
But see, Adam, see, we have a family bond. with a family relationship because we love each other, but he don't take my calls. If I call him at work, all of a sudden he finds himself to be busy and he won't take my call. And I'm like, I feel some kind of way about that. Like sometimes I just want to call and just chat with you, but I get the receptionist. Oh, Adam's busy right now. Really? Is
You
he
know,
really busy?
I know his phone's in his hand. I know his phone's in his.
I know it. I know it is. So many make believe stories.
Oh man.
So funny. I think Adam is like the Monty Python of toys.
It was so funny when I met him because I'd met him once or twice at Comic Con before, but never really chopped it up with him that much. And I was at Designer Con this last year in November, and I'm cruising through, and I look down and I see the Cursed Dead stuff, and I see that werewolf, and I was just like,
Mm,
"Whoa, what is this?" Like,
crazy, right? It was
oh
crazy,
man. I just stopped what I
crazy.
was doing. Like I was just stopped, and it was just like, oh man. And so Adam's like, oh yeah, this is blah blah. I'm like, oh awesome, cool, And I'm like, well, here's a sticker for my podcast. He's like, oh yeah, no, blah blah. I'm so and so on Instagram. I'm like, oh wow, okay, so I talk to you all the time already, and I didn't even know it was
Hmm.
you.
I know Adam is the Phantom Menace.
Yes, yes, that is entirely accurate.
Yeah, but that cursed dead stuff. I mean, like that again. That's Phil Ramirez, man, doing what he loved, like giant pig creatures with
Yeah,
6, 7 toes and all that stuff. Oh man, like when I saw that stuff, it was just like so comforting. It was chicken noodle soup to my soul.
oh my gosh, it like I, I've wanted like a legitimate werewolf forever, and I looked and I was just like, ooh, I need
Hmm.
that. And when is this gonna come to fruition? Because I want that like as soon as I can get my hands on it.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean by like pushing the envelope and just going outside of these brands. That
Right.
I mean, of course we love it, man, but we have there's so much talent, in this industry and so many ideas that I think if people really knew some of the ideas that these guys really have that they work on brainstorms or pitches and everything and never made it, I think people will really go nuts
Yeah.
for it, because um, I mean, just me myself in this industry, I've seen people, including myself, come up with some really really cool ideas, and the only reason why they really didn't work is because it wasn't, a known IP or didn't have, a movie behind it or a cartoon behind
Mm-hmm.
it. And that is so that just sucks.
It's
The level
heartbreaking. It's
is
heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. It's
Yeah.
very heartbreaking. So when you see stuff like the Cursed Dead or you see other stuff coming out of certain like designer cons and all that stuff, it's like, oh man, this is I would love to get behind this, wholeheartedly
Uh
because
huh.
this is what we need. This is what we're missing right now.
I know me and Ernie were even talking about that it would be amazing to get, a line of, legitimate 112 scale, highly articulated animals. Just
Mm,
animals. Like
mm-hmm,
give us a grizzly bear, give us a panda bear, a tiger, a
mm,
lion,
mm.
I need a wolf now.
a wolf. Yeah. You could get wolves, you could get coyotes, you could get, you name it, man. Like
Right.
elephant. Imagine that. A 112 scale, highly
Oh
articulated
man,
elephant.
that would be sick with the crazy tusks on it and all
Yes.
that stuff.
Yes. Yes.
That would be insane. It would be
I,
insane. It would be dope.
I would throw a Dulcim in front of it immediately.
I know. I
Yep.
know. Or Legolas, have Legolas do his whole thing,
Yeah.
run up and down slide up and down the elephant and all that stuff would be dope.
Yep. Yeah, I would. Oh man, I would go
What did Adam
crazy.
give you for your birthday last year at the smokehouse in Burbank? Adam. He loved, man, if I tell you what, if this was a different podcast
Yeah.
with a different age group, I
Yeah.
would really tell you what Adam really loves to do with himself. He loves to do.
Well, maybe eventually one day we'll have a after hours show that you'd have to.
Adam loves Adam loves to give me things that he worked on for my birthday, and he knows like my top three favorite superheroes are Thor, Silver Surfer, and Submariner. So he gave me a Submariner, which I already had, but the fact that he gave it to me was such a touch of the heart, just such a touch of class.
Oh, that's
That's what he
awesome.
wants to hear. That's what he wants to hear.
Oh man, that is awesome.
Oh, you remembered. Yeah, After Dark on Cinemax. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah. We'll
A
have
show on Skinemax.
they're not dolls after dark, where you can say all the things that you want.
Speaking of our Patreon, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, if we did do that, it would definitely be behind a Patreon wall for sure. Yeah, that is
The Fallen Fets OnlyFans that we talk about. There you go.
Yeah. There.
That's the Cinemax version.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking, you know what I'm starting to get back into that I love. Remember the little muscle figures, the millions
Yes.
of unusual small creatures looking everywhere. Yo, I'm starting to collect those dudes again because like they're just so cool and so weird to have.
Yeah. Yeah, there's such a so are you getting the Super 7 ones?
Yeah, I'm picking up any like the older ones from back in the day, the Super Sevens. Yeah, speaking of Super Sevens coming out with a lot of crazy stuff.
Dude, right?
they're doing it, man. It's like
Yeah.
they're coming out with some really fun stuff. Some fun stuff,
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool to see guys like that, throw like monkey wrenches into the game
Mhm.
because it just reminds us how fun this whole ordeal, the whole experience is.
Yeah, you got
And I love
those
bootleg
guys
toys.
are
I'm,
huh?
I'm getting into bootleg toys too, which is cool. Like there's tons of cool bootleg toys out there too.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of 3D printed stuff. There's this. It's crazy because there's definitely I've heard people talk about. There's a shift going on right now of, a lot of the bigger companies with the bigger IPs, like they can't do everything, or they don't choose to do everything. And you've got some of these smaller guys that are, they're 3D printing stuff because it's like, well, it's never going to get made.
Right. Yep.
And it's unfortunate that it's like, it's locked behind, this license that's held by this company, when in reality it's like the company could, subcontract out to this lower guy doing this and go, hey, we're not going to get around to that. So just go ahead and make this, and this. We can approve it, and then we could do some kind of deal. But instead, it's like 9 times out of 10, it's a cease and desist letter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I'm reading Mervin between Super 7 and NECA with the TMT. My paychecks are going straight to them. Basically, you're paying child support for your toys.
Yeah.
You're paying child support, and that's how it is, brother. I mean, this is an expensive endeavor. It can get you. It can hit your pockets.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I only collect War Machines with David Vonner's heads on it. So I won't be buying the new Hasbro. Wow. I just picture Adam sitting at home in his shorts, coming up with all this little stuff to say, laughing his little butt off.
Yeah.
He has a tiny notepad. Oh, I can't wait.
He's got
like his,
the pencil behind his ear.
The avatar Spider-Man that he has with his butt pumping up, like that. That's how I view Adam right now.
Yeah, just with his head turned to the back, turned to the back, like all hee, snickering. Yeah,
But
that
yes, thank you, Adam. Yeah, I am the original War Machine.
you are.
Before
You
before
definitely are.
before Don Cheadle, it was me,
There was David Vonner, the original War Machine.
the original,
Yep.
That's
the
so
original.
awesome.
Yes, we hadn't brought that up. We definitely thank you, Adam, for bringing that up. We had to bring that up. 'Cause
Sculpted by the amazing Dave Cortez.
there you go. And then you made a couple other appearances, right?
Yeah, I'm another War Machine that Adam worked on for the 3 3/4 inch Iron Man line, and I also show up as a Jurassic Park figure.
That's a
Um,
that's an up and coming, or is that one that's already released?
it was released, one of the mercenaries.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already released. And also, fun fact, fun unknown fact, I'm also kind of like inspiration behind another doll too, um, that Mattel had made as well.
Nice.
Their creator line is more of a dog with like kind of real hair, and he's like changes genders and all that stuff. But
Oh wow.
uh, yeah. The the male one is kind of like me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I was born just to be a toy. That's it.
Yes. Still waiting for that fallen Fett figure. Ain't that right, Ernie?
Oh man, someday, right there, pop off Boba's helmet.
I'm gonna be your head.
Yeah,
Yep.
with the Decepticon symbol on the chest.
There you go.
That's what I need.
Yep. All right. Well, if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and throw them in there. We
Oh,
got
you
a
know
few.
what? I have a question. I have a
Okay.
question with all this stuff going on. It's a little bit off topic, but what
Okay.
are you guys what are you guys watching during this whole pandemic thing that's happening? Like, what's on what's on your TV screen? What are you streaming? What you watching on Netflix? What has your attention?
Right
Did
now,
you see the Tiger King?
no. I keep hearing about that. That's like the seventh time
Oh,
today someone's recommended that.
oh my goodness. You have to watch the Tiger King.
Okay. Okay.
You have to do yourself a favor, brother. As soon as we get finished, go to Netflix, turn on the Tiger King, sit back and be amazed.
All right.
Just be amazed.
I'm
Get a
gonna
drink, get a nice drink, and just enjoy the ride. That's
I'm
all I'm
gonna
gonna
have
say.
to schedule that for tomorrow night. I got a five year
Oh, that's
old.
good.
I got
No,
a
no, no. Tomorrow night's good because it's a Friday. Tomorrow's Friday,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, perfect,
Yep.
perfect. You got to see it on the Friday night.
Yeah. Me and the wife can sit down and watch that tomorrow night because the 5 year old will be up at 5:30 going, Daddy, I'm hungry. Okay, what do you want to eat? What's going on here?
Uh
So
huh.
so in other words, if I had no 5 year old, that's exactly what I would do. I'd have said drink in hand, and you know what? I'm going to check this out.
I know. See, you would do what our parents did back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Like it amazes me that we that we love the Terminator toys so much, but that was not a kid movie. It was
Or
not a kid
or
movie at
or
all.
or Rambo. Rambo had toys
Or
like
RoboCop or
yeah.
RoboCop. Like,
RoboCop. As a child walking around saying, "I'd buy that for $1."
Or my favorite one is I had the one with like the blue highlight and with the gun, and I just like I loved that thing, man. I just always like
yup, yeah,
drop it, drop it.
yup, yup. But I mean, so what? It had the most horrific death scene in movie history. Like homeboy got shot
Oh
umpteen
man,
times.
yeah, they turned him into Jello is what they did.
I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
now we had to have the toy of it. We had to have the toys of
Yes.
it.
All right. Mervine's got a three-parter. He's got a three-parter question for you.
Okay.
Favorite figure you worked on, favorite or figure you'd like to take a second crack at, and a Grail figure that you would like to work on, or character, I guess.
Wow. All right. So let's start. Let's see. Figure you'd like to take a second crack at. Um, I think it would definitely be the Punisher.
Nice.
For some reason, it, the Punisher is just it's a weird kind of guy because he's very easy to do. I mean, a pissed off dude with guns and attitude and all that stuff, but sometimes he just doesn't come out right.
Right.
Like I definitely know that like the 3 3/4 one, like the first one, he had this huge head, and
Mm-hmm.
I was so ticked off about that, like so mad about that. But I think because he's so simple and so cool and just so simplistically violent, I would love to do a really cool Punisher. Um, Favorite figure you worked on? I love them all. I really can't like. There's different ones for different reasons and all that stuff. So it's like I can't point to one. Even though I can tell you that I love finally doing the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends with Miss Lion in there because I love that cartoon. I always wanted to see like a 6 inch Firestar and all that stuff,
Uh huh.
Oh god.
like a
Th-
6 inch classic Firestar. And also too, like I remember when the back in the day when the Firestar Limited series that came out, the comic book, like I just wanted her to be part of the X-Men, like how she was on Spider-Man and Amazing Friends. So to be able to do that was really, really cool. That was like a childhood moment for me, to be able to do that. That
Good
was cool.
answer.
And let me see.
I've been asking for that for 6 years, and instead I had to have this Toy Fair version sitting here.
And the grail, the holy grail of anybody, oh man, I think it would be uh I would love if it was Marvel, I would love to do like the Tomb of Dracula.
Ooh.
Like I would love to be able to do that type of. I remember when they had Dracula in the X-Men, like he bit Storm on the cover, and she was like a
Mm-hmm.
vampire and all that stuff. Like I don't know. I love vampires. I love Dracula. I would love to do a really really cool Tomb, Tomb of Dracula. And like Man Thing, a really cool Man Thing, just that 70s kind of style,
There you go.
just nice, just really cool. Yeah, I think that would be really dope. Really dope. Yeah, Miss Lion. I love that Miss Lion, man. Oh, I always wanted to do what was his name for Spider-Man and his amazing friend? Zax and Swarm. Remember Swarm that they had on where all the bees and all that stuff?
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen that custom that was made? That
Oh
cut.
yeah, I think I did remember that. I did remember that.
Yeah, I think
I
that
remember
was
I,
Craig
I
Warwick
remember
that did that.
I remember there was someone back in the day. You just reminded me. Someone back in the day had did a custom of the armadillo, and I always wanted to do that version of the armadillo. A classic Nimrod, a John Romita Jr. Nimrod.
Yeah.
Um,
Supposedly the new one's gonna have a old face you could swap out.
yeah, yeah. Modoc, actually had a 3 3/4 inch Marvel Universe Modoc in his head. You turn it like a lazy Susan, so when you turn his head, he has different expressions, like three different
Oh,
faces on there.
that would have been
That's
cool.
nice.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was really 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 cool.
Heck
That
yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah, we've been watching at my house. We've been watching a lot of. My daughter has discovered Casey Undercover, Disney
Mm,
property,
mm-hmm,
starring Zendaya,
mm-hmm.
the new Mary Jane. So we've been watching a whole bunch of that. Um, and I just got around to watching John Wick 3 last weekend. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't. Speaking of John Wick, I cannot wait to see Keanu Reeves in the new Matrix movie. Like the Matrix trilogy turned my entire life around. And people who were pissed off at the second and third one, to me, I loved it all. And the Animatrix and all that stuff. I
I
mean,
liked
the
the
whole.
Animatrix. I like the Animatrix. I'm one of those guys that's like, I'll take the first one, and the other two had some really cool scenes, but
Mhm.
it just kind of missed me. But the Animatrix, I liked that too.
The Animatrix, man, I love, and I think that's why I love Death and Robots, man, because it reminds me of the Animatrix.
I need to watch
That
that
was,
still. I've heard so many good things about that too.
love Death and Robots.
Yeah, still haven't seen it
Oh
yet.
yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. That was really really cool. I guess you need to lock yourself in a room with him and rediscover your your friendship.
Alrighty. What about you, Ernie? What have you been watching?
I watched Onward, and then which was a really good movie.
That's
I,
what I
I,
heard. Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It's so funny how our geek culture is now everywhere because it has a lot to do with like Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Hmm.
It's awesome. It was a really good movie. I was laughing like almost all the way through it. It was great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And then I've still been look at Mervine said Onward made me cry harder than Coco. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. And then
I would love to see a Pixar version of Six Pack.
oh,
Yeah. That would
Pixar.
be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
I would love to see that. It's
And
so
then I
many
had to
things
go
in Marvel I would love to see the Pixar do. That would be so cool.
Yes.
I had to go back and watch it a second time to make sure I found the Pizza Planet truck.
Where was it?
It's on. I'll give you a hint. It's on the freeway scene.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out.
And then anything else that's always on constantly every week is either a Star Wars movie or Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, Batman the animated series.
That's always on in my house.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
man,
that.
you need to watch My Hero. Take the time
I
out. Watch My
I,
Hero.
I know. I know.
Hey, have you watched My Hero Academia, Dave?
Oh man, you know what? I when I first saw it, I didn't know what the hell I was watching, and it was it was so dope.
Right?
It was really cool. And now my thing is, I can never catch it. I need a DVR. I can never catch it because it comes on like really late, right?
Okay. If
So
you
like,
if you got Hulu, you can just binge it.
mm,
You can just watch as
yeah.
much as you want. They've got it
You,
dubbed and subbed.
you know how I got at how I actually I was I think I was in China and I actually bought a an energy drink that had that almighty guy
Oh
on
man. Oh my.
it. And I was like, who I bought it just for him.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was or who he was or anything. And then I caught the cartoon. I was like, this is dope.
Oh, it's so good.
This is crazy. So it's like, yeah, I love I dig that. I dig that because it makes me feel like a little kid again.
Yes, it really does. It's crazy. It's so good, and I keep telling Ernie, you need to watch it, man. It's good. I'm telling you, you'll really like it. It like it really pulls a lot of that the feeling and the heart of old comic books.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's got a
yeah.
lot of that, and it's funny because the creator, he has a grip of Marvel Legends.
Really?
Yes, yes. Our friend Michael Wisman, he had found a video of the creator of My Hero doing an interview, and he collects a whole bunch of action figures, and like he was showing off his apartment or whatnot, and he's got a whole grip of Marvel Legends. He's a huge comic book fan of American
Now it makes
comic
sense.
books, right?
Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I try to recommend it to everybody, and a lot of people don't grab onto it. I told one of my buddies, I'm like, dude, just I'm telling you, it's good. Just watch it. And he was like, oh,
Hmm.
I'll get around to it. He's like, I had it on in the background. He's on. Then I was like, hey, what's going on? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. All right, I'm gonna turn around and watch this and like really get into it now. So
Yep. Kamen Rider is pretty crazy too. Gundam, yeah, that's crazy too.
yeah.
But Kamen Rider is really wild.
Yeah. I that's one that I'm actually kind of like, I don't want to get into that because that SH Figure Arts line goes deep.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
another moment where I know myself too well.
See, yeah, that I'm the same way. That's kind of one reason why I pull back from collecting real heavy, man, because it can be like a drug binge, man. Like you go in and then next thing you know, you're doing some really suspicious stuff with your money.
Yeah, or you're just like, oh, what did I just do? Like, oh man, like, or you're like, oh, I made some overtime. All right, cool,
Mhm.
toys.
I remember when back in the Toy Biz days, they we would get Marvel bundles, like Marvel comic bundles and DC comic bundles. But all of the Marvel comic bundles were taken by all the higher ups in the company, or just everybody. Before the bundles would come down to the toy guys, the Marvel bundles would be gone, but no one took the DC bundles, and that's actually how I got into DC Comics. I was working at Marvel, and
That's
and
so
then
funny.
and then right around that time, yeah, we were going to like Midtown Comics all the time, and man, that's when Hush had came out, Batman
Oh,
Hush, and also Dark Horse had just reprinted in those the small size books of they just did the entire run of Lone Wolf and Cub.
oh,
And
okay.
bro, you want to talk about crack money? Like I was taking my money, I was buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars of comic books and action figures and statues. It was really bad. But like that, but like the Lone Wolf and Cub, I had bought the whole volume, like whole series. And man, like that right there is my number one favorite comic book series of all time. And I think that's why I love like the Mandalorian and all that stuff because
That
it's like
makes
Western,
sense.
but it's also Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yep.
Now I think like that right there. Now I'm thinking about it. That would be my holy grail to do. A little like Garo and oh, man, that would be so dope to do
Yeah.
Lone Wolf and Cub and like all those characters in there, like
Yep.
the
So then you
Shogun and all that stuff.
so then you were really loving the what is it, Lone Roach and Grub deal there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that stuff, man.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yep.
Yup.
All right. Well, you let's go ahead and end this.
Yeah,
First
man. This
off,
was super fun, man. Super
oh
dope.
man, it's super fun on our side, man. Thank you so much for hopping on with us. It's anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome, sir.
Oh man, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's man, this has been a really really fun episode. That's all I could say.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's
Cool, man. And all the guys that chimed in chatting, Cool, JLA Reject, and Mervin 48, and of course Adam, Van. Good for that.
Say my name.
Say my name. Say my name. Adam, this dude is like the mafia of toys, man. You ever see that movie, The King of New York? Have you ever
Yes.
seen that? When he's like, if there's a $5, pill being sold in the park, I want in. That's
Yeah.
Adam. Like, if there's an ankle joint involved, I want in.
Yep.
If there's ab crunch, I want in. That's Adam. He's the king of New York when it comes to toys.
That's very accurate. Oh
Cool.
man. Well, where can people find you at? Keep up with you, sir.
I'm usually hanging out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, of course. Like you can always pick up your favorite WWE superstar, in the store near you,
There you go.
and yeah, I'm always hanging out on social media, so I'm easy to find. I'm always kind of hanging out.
Sweet. And Ernie, where can we find you, sir?
Here on They're Not Dolls every Thursday. On Wednesday night, we got the Sarlacc Digest going on. Join us for that, for some Star Wars talk. Be sure and catch our mini quickie episodes every day around 5 o'clock to brighten your day. And be sure and check out How We Do Disney if you're missing it like I am, just to see our old Disney pics for now.
Mm.
Okay.
Until we can get back and I can get back to my Star Wars land. Oh my gosh.
Yep. All right. Be sure to check out the Raw Live and Unedited Podcasting Network with such amazing shows as
The Sarlacc Digest.
There we go. Be sure to check out D Amazing's YouTube channel with the latest import and Mezco action figure reviews. Check out the Foosh with Robo because he's simply amazing. And check out Rectangular's YouTube channel with the latest and greatest Marvel Legends news. Check out Unparalleled Universe's YouTube channel as well. He just posted a Spawn review for that Spawn figure for the Mortal Kombat. Also, be sure to check out Michael Wisman's YouTube channel. If you're in need for some cloth clothing for your action figures, check out cjsem.com. If you need an import guy, hit up Supreme Collector. If you're in the UK, check out Toy Trash. And if you're in the local area, check out Line Breakers. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, toymigos.com. And we also have a big cartel shop. So with that being said, I am Cheney180.
And I'm the Fallen Fett.
And remember, guys, they're not dolls.